Saseni Mkofiti, welcome to yet another episode of Cele's Reflection. Now, I know you've seen this thing so many times. So we are still back at Kise. Of course, you guys had so many questions. Sasa tumerudi for another episode. Of course, back here, ukiona hiyo unajua tumerudi pale kwa special education. And today I have a guest who is going to introduce himself. Then I'll tell you what we are talking about in just a few minutes. So karibu sana.
Asante.
I know I'm in your space, I'm in your premises, but I'm telling you karibu sana.
Asante. It's okay.
Yeah, so introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, my name is Daniel Sanoe. I work in this institute, Kenya Institute of Special Education, as a deputy director in charge of programs. Programs here means teacher training, it means research, it also means partnerships and assessment of children with special needs and disabilities.
Yeah. Thank you. So today we are focusing on parental empowerment and engagement.
Yes.
What is that?
Parental empowerment is the act, or rather the process, because it doesn't really start and end. It's a process of giving parents of children with special needs and disability, to be specific for our context, information about special needs and disabilities. And obviously that information is about the children they bring to us for assessment and placement in the school system. So basically it is the giving of information, the empowering of the parents so that they are able to participate in the education of their children and by extension their lives, and to make decisions for themselves on behalf of their children. Yes.
So I love that, because when this parent is getting a kid, you expect to have a very okay baby. Then maybe you get a baby with a CP or autism. So when you have no idea, you're clueless. So when you come here, you're going to be empowered. Your kid is going to get whatever you're looking for the baby, and then also you're going to get a surplus for empowering.
Yeah, what happens, just the way you have said, as parents, when we expect a child, you even have a visual picture of the kind of child you are going to get. A bubbling picture for a child full of energy. But here comes a battle of joy. Joy that may have certain limitations. A joy that may have certain disabilities. Be it a disability of speech, be it a disability of sight, be it a disability of hearing, or even behavior, because we have got children with emotional and behavior difficulties. Once they arrive and we realize there is a challenge, then our life changes. The first thing parents do is to kind of deny that, no, this one is not real. Am I dreaming? And finally, you come to realize, yes, there is a disability. I can no longer deny. So the next step is to do what we call shopping. Shopping the way we even go and shop for the food we eat in the market. You run from one hospital to the next doctor to another center, looking to be told whether what you have seen as a disability
is a lie,
is right or wrong. And many times, parents will go to many stations before they finally accept that yes, there is a disability.
That is what you're calling shopping.
That is what we call shopping. Just the way you shop for your clothes, you shop for food, you shop for a vehicle, you also go to shop for information about the disabling condition you have seen. Once it comes to be appreciated within the parent that yes, there is a disability, then the next thing is to really seek for information that will assist you to manage the disability. Umekubali kabisa, you now accept Then now you shop and say, so what next? Once you come to the what next, so our part in terms of parental empowerment is to give them information about what is the disability, what is this, what is the nature of disability, what is the degree of that disability? Is it mild? Is it moderate? Is it severe? And then next is, can we school this child? You see, we are an education institution. Can this child be schooled? Can this child live an independent life? And even worse still, there are conditions which we need to give parents information and tell them, within the next 10 years, this child may not be living.
Oh, no.
That is the reality. And we have to progressively bring that information to the parents. That is empowerment. So that as they plan for the life of these children, they also get to know that in the next 6 years, as I shop for a wheelchair, for a walking cane, this wheelchair may be empty in the house in the next 5 years. This child may not be there because there are disabling conditions that are terminal. The child is not there. So then we get to empower parents. One, what assistive devices can this parent buy? Two, what school placement can this child go to? Kama ni mtoto with a visual impairment, then these are the options available for you. In terms of you live in Nairobi or you live, for example, in Kiambu, these are the schools near you. If this child needs therapy, for example, speech therapy, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, which services are available near you? And what are the likely costs of these services? Once this child has grown and is able to move from primary level to secondary level, which schools are there for this child? What options are available for you? Even in terms of cost. This school is available to you, and this is the cost. Because some parents are way down by poverty, and therefore they may not afford certain services. So you tell them, this is the service this child requires, these are the options available, this is the likely cost of these services. And if you are not able to maybe cater for the costs, these are the likely organizations that may support you. So you can imagine the kind of information these parents need. That is parental empowerment. Once you have empowered them, then now you go next and engage them.
Question.
Yeah.
So it means also parental empowerment, because I've done a few episodes here. The same way the baby is coming for the sessions, it's the same way the parent is still coming for the empowerment sessions. It's not a one thing of...
It is one, not one, and in fact, parental empowerment will go the whole life of the child. Let me tell you the reason why. Today, even at our age, there is a lot of information that we still learn. You learn information that this is how I need to manage my family. And you learn for life even. The way you learned about the way to nurture your children when they are young, when they are adolescents, you need to learn information. Yeah. When they exit your house, you still need to know information of how to bring them in and out as they grow. Equally for children with disabilities, as they continue to receive services, be it the first initial assessment, be it the therapies, be it the assistive devices, so you continue increasing the amount of information you require as they move on, because services change as the child continues to grow and as disability evolves. Disability may not be constant. It may even change. When the child was young, it may have been mild. As they grow up to manage that disability, now they may require medication. Because they may develop epilepsy, so now you require to know, oh, so there are drugs for epilepsy. What kind of drugs? Where do I get them? Another thing is as they grow, they may develop other associated disabilities like speech problems. They may never had them because they were not speaking when they are young. Now they have grown, they need to speak, but they are not speaking. So then you now again require that information, which was not necessary when the child was young. Do you get me?
Yeah, I get
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, so you need to empower them past stage.
Every time. Information needs to be delivered according to need, according to time, all those kind of things.
So, initially on the other episodes, the therapy sessions were very affordable. Like they were affordable. Is this parental? Because I'm bringing my baby, and you guys saw it wise for you to empower even the parent, which is a very good thing because I didn't know, I didn't expect to be here, so I have no clue on what my baby is going through. What are the charges for the parental empowerment? Is it free? Is it an extra service from Cele to the parent? How much is it?
Fine. That one is a good question. One, before I get to answer that one, I want to tell you this is a government institution.
Yeah.
And we are funded by government.
Okay.
One of the key reasons why government funds and did set up this institution is to give services. Some of the services we offer are assessment of children with disabilities. We charge a small fee to cause the parent to feel that they are contributing, but not really a charge that is punitive to tell a parent, even if you don't have the money, or you don't have the money, go away. Not at all. Parents come here, they don't have the money, but they still receive a service because government has set up this institution for purposes of giving those services. But for maintenance of equipment and other things we require, then we charge a little fee, but not a fee that is punitive, not to cause a parent not to come for service.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are the many other services that guys can get from Cele? Because I know we've done an episode on CP, cerebral palsy. We've done autism. Now you're telling us of parental empowerment that is here. What are some of the other services
Parents can get?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see what you have mentioned are types of disabilities, CP and autism. There are other disabilities that also require other services. One other service is called hydrotherapy, which children may require as part of relaxation of contractures that they acquire in the process of immobilization of their bodies that are caused by deformities. So there is hydrotherapy service. Another service is we give to parents, or rather to the children, is speech and language therapy. It's still a service provided. Apart from that, there is also what we call information on community groups for parents. We tell the parents, within your locality, there are parental groups that you need to get into in order to get information, so that they equip you with information where to get assistive devices that are cheap, where to give information on types of disabilities and the progression of that disability. That is another service we give them. Another service is information about registration of children with special needs and disabilities by the National Council for persons with disabilities. A lot of children are not registered as persons with disabilities, and parents do not know where to get this information. So then we refer them on where they can get to be registered. Another service is some disabilities may need to be confirmed by medical practitioners. Like, for example, autism. We may tell them, this child is autistic, but can we get a medical confirmation? Because we may not be medical doctors. Can we get confirmation from a medical doctor? But they say, where do I go to? They're very expensive. I don't know where to meet them. So we refer them to government hospitals with the practitioners, and they get to be served. So those are the kind of information we give them.
I love that. Now, there's something you've said. I was like a bit scared. I don't know how I felt about it. That you can even tell a parent, this child will not go up to 10 years. Like, how do you pass this information to this parent? Mimi ni mzazi, unaniambia mtoto wangu.
How do you tell a parent a child is going to die?
And you, with a serious
That is
face.
what I should tell you.
Like with a serious face. This is my baby, I'm coming in for help. Then I leave with that information.
Yeah, our training here is to be empathetic and not to be sympathetic. Empathetic so that we can deliver the right information without angering you. Listen to this. Disabilities are very diverse. There are disabilities that are inherited through the genes. Once you inherit them, some of us are carriers. Some people are carriers of certain types of disabilities. Once you pass it to the child, and many times they manifest themselves in certain genders, the female or male gender, then that you may find a child with a disability like muscular dystrophy. That one is a bit hard for you. But let me simplify it and say muscles start to degenerate. They atrophy. They die of themselves. Zinaisha tu, muscles die. So if you had very big thighs and all those kind of things, where there are big muscles, the calves and the rest, they start to shrink. If you had very big shoulders, they start to shrink. And with the time, if then the muscles atrophy, meaning they die, then you are likely to be left with the bones. Is that the case? If the muscles die, then you are left with the bones. Can bones work alone? Not at all. They require muscles. Then the child now becomes weak and weak and weak.
That's a condition that is there.
Oh yes, it is true.
Oh no.
So what happens is that you find your child who had very big muscles, very running around, jumping, playing football, all of a sudden, they start feeling weak. And even to wake up, they have to hold themselves in order to wake up. Kama mzee, anajishikilia ndiye amuke. And with the time, this child can no longer walk. And they need to be on a wheelchair, even going to school. And with the time, because of loss of muscles, breathing becomes difficult. They cannot breathe in and out. So pneumonia starts developing. And with the time, after some years, then this child has to die. How do we deliver this information to parents? We tell them the reality that let us focus on the education of this child on a short-term basis, because this is the condition, and we would like you to kind of go with us through this information. And we may need not to plan for this child going to secondary or university education, because many times these children hardly live long because there are other associated conditions. Breathing becomes difficult, they can't move on their own, and they are likely many times to have problems and may have even life-threatening problems as they move on. And slowly by slowly, and you don't deliver that in one day, you deliver it over a period of time, because this is your child coming here for therapies. So you get to orient them to taking this information in small doses, until finally this parent tells you, by the way, what have you been saying? Are you saying this child over time? You see, now they start taking it in, and therefore they come to appreciate that living is part of us and dying is part of us. Yes.
Now that you've talked about that condition, what are some of the other rare, because I've never heard of that one, maybe some of those rare conditions that we don't know about?
Yeah, you see, muscular dystrophy is just one of the disabilities that are terminal in nature. But there are types of muscular dystrophy, and some of them are not terminal. There are types. Some of them are not terminal. People live their lives. but it is one of the disabling conditions that brings physical disability. Physical disability in the nature that their muscles atrophy, they die, the bones then become weak, so you become at times immobilized. Let me tell you a small story.
Okay.
Before I go to the other one. We have got a lot of experiences here when it comes to that kind of situation. We have seen children push their colleagues who are unable to walk because of muscular dystrophy and assist them all the way from school, and they bring him to Cele. Not even the parents, but the colleagues accompany the parent and tell the parent, today he's our friend, he's our classmate, we are pushing him to assessment center. We are going to ask for permission out of school to push our classmate to the assessment center in Cele.
Wow.
Very powerful.
Wow.
It is part of parental empowerment. That despite disability, children are even coming in to understand and to appreciate their colleagues in the classroom with disabilities and coming to form part of the assistive structure for those children then to continue with their schooling. The other types of disabilities that are a bit challenging, although may not be terminal, they are long-term. A disability or a disabling condition that is called deaf blindness. Deaf blindness in the sense that this child has no vision, may be total blind, and has no hearing ability. So the child cannot hear, the child cannot see.
So sign language.
You are Celestine.
Yes.
Or in short, Celeste.
Yes.
I want you to close your eyes and you close your ears. Do both. Celeste. Okay, open them. So you didn't close totally because you heard me talk. But
No,
in a situation where you are totally not hearing and you are not seeing,
so
can you envision that world in your mind?
So they can't communicate via sign? They can't...
So what we do as Kenya Institute of Special Education is to train teachers who then are able to educate these children. Able to educate them because they are human beings.
Yeah.
And they need to live their lives. Although they may be dependent, but they also have a life to live. They need to wash their own clothes. They need to tie their own shoes. They need to give birth. They need to run their families. Yes, they are human beings like us. So they need all you need, all I need. And therefore, we train the teachers to be able to train them on communication strategies. So you touch their hands, you give them signs of if somebody touches their hand and gives them a sign, or closes their hand, or puts their hand on the cheek or on the head, what does it mean? So from that one, then they pick what it means. And then they are able to communicate with anybody. So in that kind of situation, then we bring in their parents to give them information about the communication system for children who are deaf-blind. Because when they're at home, then they also need to communicate with these children. And children need to communicate with them. That I want to clean my clothes. I want to go and sleep. I need water. So how do they get to be assisted?
So you empower the parent, you train the parent, you train the child. It's like a whole community thing.
It is a community thing and it is necessary. And if it was even necessary, even go beyond and train the community. Because the child in our setting does not just belong to themselves or to the parents. They also belong to the school, to the community where they live. And they need to go out and communicate with everybody else. So that one is very important. I think another one which you have already talked about is autism, obviously. And the major challenge with it is behavior management. But that is something you have already gone through, and it's quite a challenge, but we are doing what we can.
Yeah. Why do you feel there is need for us to educate, to empower the parents? Where's these parents now?
There are very many reasons why we need to empower parents. One of them is parents need to be involved in the lives of their children.
And you're saying parents, not parent.
Well, you see, a parent goes beyond the biological parent. Even in the school system, you find teachers who are trained to educate and manage. So then if you are managing, you are a parent.
Oh, yeah.
If they go to another place, then there are people who assist. So I'm saying parents. Parents, they could be single or double parents or whatever it is, but they are parents. Or we could use the word caregivers. Caregivers.
Yeah.
We need to empower them so that, one, they understand the needs of children with special needs and disabilities. They have got their own needs, and some of those needs may be unique. That is one. Two, we also need to empower these parents because these children require assistive devices, many of them. And these parents need to know where to get them. Assistive devices. Assistive devices that may be durable, that may be less costly, that may be gotten free through certain organizations. So they need to know assistive devices, where to get them. Another reason why we need to empower these parents is for them to know where to get therapy services for these children. A place like Cele. Another key thing is so that they need to know how to communicate with their children. Imagine a child who is deaf. They are taught in school sign language. A, B, C, D in signs. A, sijui B, I don't know how to sign. There are a lot of things. I hope I'll teach you one day a few of them. And the parent, when they go home, those parents do not know what?
Sign language.
Sign language. Then communication stops. It breaks. So they're only able to communicate in school. Once they go home, they can't communicate. So Cele is saying, parents of children with special needs and disabilities have really been left behind. And we now need to move forward by, one, setting up a parental empowerment center. The government is right now constructing a parental empowerment center in Cele. It's ongoing, where the government is saying, when the parents come in, give them information so that when they go outside, they are able to get engaged in terms of communicating with the other parents, communicating with their own children, knowing where to get devices, know where to take children for therapy, know how to get into parents of children with disabilities groups, know how to register their children as persons with disabilities. So we are setting up this center for purposes of empowering the parents.
Now I saw something while walking around. I've noticed that most kids come with their moms. And that thing, I'm a mother. So I was like, okay. Of course, mtoto kama ni wakubebwa na leso ni mama yake. I feel like most of I don't know whether it's something I've observed ama haiko hivyo. Is it true that most of the kids come in with their moms?
You are more than true. You are more than right. 100% and beyond. Many years ago, I wanted to write a book. And I wanted to write, but I stopped. And I wanted to write a book entitled, I Accuse the Father.
Wow.
Because I've got over 20 years in special needs and disability space. As an assessment center staff, as a teacher trainer, and now in administration. Many times, almost I can say over 80%, children with special needs and disabilities are brought in by their mothers. One situation that happens many times is that the male father or caregiver, once they find out that the child has got a disability, they are very weak-hearted. One, they run away. They don't want to share the burden of a disabling condition Two, they know the cost implications and they want to also run away from it. Three, I almost think, so to speak, they are proud and they don't want an association to do with anything lesser than the best of a human being. So according to them, the only child, many of them, who then don't bring their children, the only child is a child that fits the model of a normal child. Once they deviate from norm in terms of you speak, you see, you hear, you walk, you run, you become independent and leave me alone. If you deviate from that one, then you are not normal, then I run away from you. But mothers have got a different soul and will ever believe that it belongs to them and therefore cannot run away. And therefore for us, we really cherish the mother. And we cherish those fathers who then also participate in sharing the burden. So that is very true. Many children we meet here come in with their mother parents.
But I feel now this empowerment thing will empower the men. Maybe they'll increase.
Yeah, one of the things we shall do to empower them is to tell them the causes of disabilities. That a disability may not necessarily have come from the father or from the mother. Some disabilities come about even when you are an adult. Or maybe the child was playing in the house, got to hit the floor when they are young, they were normal when they were born, and they acquire disability, like cerebral palsy. They lose their speech, they lose their sight, they lose their hearing just by one hit on the head. That is strong. I think one of the key things we need to do is to empower, to give parents information, to empower them with what are these disabilities? What are the causes of these disabilities? I think that is very important space so that they may really participate in the care of children with disabilities.
I think for the few dads, let me just applaud for the few dads who come in, who bring the kids, who come with the mom. It's a good thing to feel the support. I mean, it's our baby. Let's do it together. So it's a journey together. What is the main challenge you guys face as Cele? Because now I'm sure, helping even all these people, you guys still have some challenges that you face as an institution.
Our biggest challenge at the moment is these children come here, having a disability is already done. They have a disability, whether they are born with or acquired in the process of their life. One of the major challenges is school placement. School placement because in Kenya, a lot of people still feel children with special needs and disabilities need to go to a special school. Well, special schools are there. Government has provided. But these schools also have got limits. And the world over, the approach now is not to take children to special schools because there are no special homes. There are no special workplaces once they have grown up. What we are saying is, the world is moving to inclusion, where the child is expected to go to their school next to their home, so that they run with their sisters and their brothers to the nearest school and come back home, but not to be taken 100 kilometers away to a special school because you have got a disability. So we find a lot of people, one, parents still want these children to go to special schools. Two, schools still have got their own limitations. Limitations, be it structural, where there is no adequate adaptation to accommodate that child, adequate adaptations in terms of attitude. You see, you have to adapt people's attitude. The way they think, the way they receive this child might be negative. So you need to adapt their thinking about disability. You also need to adapt the training methods. So a lot of teachers may not have been trained. And we need probably to train a lot of them, devolve a lot of training the way we are doing so that we reach everybody. So a major challenge we face is school placement for these children. Another major challenge is assistive devices. A lot of assistive devices are expensive, very expensive. Expensive because many of them are not produced locally. And therefore they come from outside. They receive a lot of taxation from those who bring them, and therefore they also have to add their own profits. By the time they land here, they are very expensive. Let me also tell you something, another challenge for those children and us as kids. This child is in a local school, has got a disability. You will tell a child who is not disabled, wewe hauna kalamu, run home and tell your parent to buy you and come back straight away. Ama, run to the local shop and buy a ruler or an eraser or an exercise book. You can't tell that one to a child with a visual impairment because the kind of paper they use cannot be sold in the local market.
Oh, yeah.
The kind of braille machine they use is very expensive, cannot be in the local shop. The local shopkeeper has never seen it. So they even wonder, what are you saying? So they are very expensive, they are not locally available. So therefore, educating these children is a major challenge. Major challenge in the sense that we have not really devolved these services. But what is the government doing? The government has now said, we want to establish a factory in Cele. And we have, and we have already done the tender last week. We are now, the government has said, we want to start producing this equipment and materials locally.
So they've had your cry.
The government has listened and finally has said, we are going to fund Cele, do a factory, not even a workshop, a factory, produce these devices. If you can't produce, assemble them, bring the cost down so that it is manageable, so that children are able to operate in the school system. Wow. So those are some of the challenges, but the government is really coming in. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. And I'm sure now that it's you guys who are doing it, it's going to be affordable.
It's going to be affordable because taxation will be less, because it's government service.
Yeah.
Cele service is government service.
Yeah.
It has just been brought to this institution.
Thank you so much. I am happy to have known you guys. I hope someone out there is gonna get help. Come at Cele, whether it's coming to be a teacher. I've heard you've told me I can go and learn whether to do sign language.
Yes.
So you can come just for your own knowledge. You learn. You can take a course here, maybe kujua sign language, whichever it is, just for your own good. You never know where you'll apply to use it. So thank you so much. Thank you even for having me. Thank you for the time. Maybe a parting remark to the government, ama the person who was watching. The government tumewaongelelea sana, wamefanya kazi mzuri. There's someone who is watching who didn't know about Cele, who has known about Cele now.
Yeah, thank you. Kenya Institute of Special Education is a government institution located in Kasarani. Mm-hmm. In fact, we are adjacent the stadium. We share the fence with the stadium. Its purpose is one, to train the teachers who train children who then go out to special schools and inclusive settings for the children with special needs and disabilities. Two, we also have got a mandate to produce learning materials and assistive devices for children with disabilities. And now the government has even given us more power to set up a factory to produce that. Another one is we assess children with special needs and disabilities and guide the parents on placement, which schools to take the children. Another key mandate, which we have now been added recently, is there are assessment centers across the country. In each county, there is an assessment center for children with disabilities. The government has said, we now want Cele to manage all assessment centers in the country. so that we empower them enough so that they can assist parents to assess the children and place the children in schools. So very soon, those services will be very vibrant across the country, all the way from regional to county to sub-county level. We shall be having assessment services.
They are not yet operational?
They are operating. Some may not be to the full capacity, but within a year or so, they'll be fully operational with enough staff. And I think I want to tell parents, there is life for children with disabilities.
Yeah.
They are very powerful children. Some of them have got immense talents and gifts. Once placed in school systems, those gifts are identified, they can be amazing in their lives.
Maybe just one last question. Do you guys accept volunteers?
Yes, because the number of parents who come here seeking for services many times outstrips our capacity, although government is doing what it can. But at times they outstrip our capacity. So a lot of times we tend in volunteers who have got then the knowledge, the competencies, the skills in the area of disability to assist us to give that service. For example, we have a lot of attaches from Kenya Medical Training College, the universities that train speech therapy and physiotherapists like Jomo Kenyatta. We've got a lot of their students coming in for practicals and they assist in giving service. And yes, volunteers, we still have got space for them. Yes.
If someone wants to reach out to you guys, maybe I have a friend of mine who referred me here. Now, she told me the last time she came for her, when she brought her kid the last session, when she was about to pay, she was told everything has been catered for today. Do you have people who, is it open to people who want to support Cele? Ama, how does that work? Because she didn't know who paid, but everything was paid apparently for some people that day. How does that work?
Yeah, what happens is that disability space is quite a challenging one. Quite challenging in the sense that there's a lot of expenditure, be it medication, be it therapies, hydro, physio, occupational, all those kinds of therapies. And they are not a one-off. They are things you do almost on a daily basis. And therefore, they weigh down on parents in terms of expenditure, in terms of finances. What happens is a lot of people come in to kind of ensure that that service continues for children. One of those organizations is the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. And they come in and say, we are going to be paying for the next 100 therapies. They don't care who it is, but they pay for therapies, meaning any child, the next 100 children coming for therapy are paid for. Therefore, you come in, you are told, you are still within the band that was paid. Please go for service. And therefore, we have got people coming in, supporting parents, a lot of organizations. And we are looking forward to increasing the organizations. We are reaching out to many organizations so that then those parents can be supported.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nice. Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing with us. I feel like it was very insightful. It was nice. We've learned something. We've learned a thing or two. Kwa parental empowerment and engagement. So until next time, we'll come back again. Please don't get tired of having us. When we receive more questions, we will knock at your door, then come back.
Feel welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Until next time, so bye-bye.